And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I'm your host, Wes Tankersley, coming at you live for an awesome little interview here with a good friend of mine, S.J. Childs. I know her, I call her Sarah, but it's awesome to have her in here. Just real quick before we get her on the screen here, if you guys are looking for Shaping Success shirts, stickers, hats, anything like that, hit me up. Let me know. We got the merchandise out now. Would love to get you something. Shirts are $27 shipped, hats are $25 shipped, and stickers are $3 a piece. So hit me up. Let's get that stuff out to you. I'd love for you to be rocking the shirt and showing everyone what Shaping Success is all about. So here is my good friend Sarah. Sarah, what is happening?
Hey, it's so good to be here. Oh gosh, I need some merch. I need shirts and maybe, I don't know about hats, maybe.
I know where you can get it.
Okay, well, we'll definitely talk about that for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, and you have something going on, and we'll talk about that a little bit too. I was looking because we were talking earlier. It's like it's been almost a year since you were on my show the first time. It was
crazy.
August 16th was when I posted that, so that means that the interview was sometime about the same time last year.
Yeah, right? Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. And so much has changed for both of us.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, it's been a crazy thing, you know. I mean, I've got over 160 something episodes out now, and just interviewing lots of people and just kind of pushing things out. And what's going on with? Are you still doing your podcast? Are you still doing everything?
Yeah, still. Well, my listeners are going to be like, I haven't seen episodes for 2 weeks now. No, I've been putting together, an event that we're going to talk about. So that's been on my plate a lot. So, but yeah, still doing interviews. I still have about 25 probably in the queue need to come out. So, it's great. It's great connecting with people, learning new things, and just making the best of it. And all kinds of new opportunities are coming from those things. So it's fantastic.
Well, and I mean, I think that's the big shift. I think that one of the things, and we can both probably attest to this, I've been doing this for about 3 years, and I started out just doing it, right? I always had these aspirations to add other things to it, like this is, my friend Jay helped me get shirts out, and that was one of the coolest things. I had a bunch of people on TikTok saying, hey, we want a shirt. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll have to figure out how to make it happen. And it took me about a month or so. And once I got them out, I sold like 20 of them. So it was kind of cool.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, definitely. It's always great when we are able to stick with something, push forward, and see the growth, because as most podcasting stories that I've heard, people don't stick with it, and it just kind of, their passion for it dies down. But I find it totally fascinating. I'm only a year and a little of time into mine. And I think that I'm about 160 episodes as well. And just because I didn't realize getting into it, like 6 interviews a day is way too much. Like, I didn't understand that. Wow. And I was doing that for the first little while. And so that's why I just had so many built episodes out, and now I have to really catch up those people waiting for their stuff to come out. But it's all great. It's all value, all in time, right? It makes more content and more great topics for all of our listeners and viewers. So it's exciting. But yeah, merchandise, I'm going to have to think about that.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy the fact that it's one of those things that we have, it kind of like, it's cool that you have those in the can. Like that's my idea, is like, I need to batch edit those because it takes so much time to do the interviews anyway.
I know.
But then, then the process of getting them out is like, oh, here we go. But it's cool that you have them, because if you need to take some time and you can just put the episode out, then you can take some time. Like with me, it's like I had like 5 in the bank at one time, and now I've got 1. This will be 2.
Yeah.
And so mine are.
I could send you guys plenty to work on. No, just kidding.
Well, how has it changed for you over the last year? Because I know at first you were like interviewing people, kind of, and it for me, it was the same way. It kind of morphed into something that it wasn't. And I think that maybe there's a little bit more direction in what you're doing now, I'm assuming, because you start to target in and move and narrow it down.
Exactly. Yeah, I think at first, I really wanted to. I do have a lot of autism, experience and knowledge, and at first, I didn't want to just be an autism show, but it, like you said, things morph and change, and the more autism episodes I did, the more it becomes more about neurodiversity and inclusion and things like that. But it's also wonderful that it's given me opportunities for hosting events and really being able to bring people together, which I think is maybe where I took a little bit of a turn. Was okay, if I can get all of these people to come and be with me on my show, what would it be like to bring them all together into one place to speak to people?
Right.
And it's great because when you have people in that niche situation where they're, you know, they see one another in these communities, but they haven't connected, then I'm bringing together people that are fond of one another already and have, a desire to meet one another. And it makes just such an excitement and a buzz. It's really fantastic. So that's been really exciting. And, I think that really when I sent kind of some of the biggest emails out and got over that fear of who I could or couldn't have on my show based on how, big I thought I was, like it gave me freedom to not feel afraid to reach out to people that might be celebrities or Elon Musk or
You
things
ever
like
get
that.
him on,
And
I want to
so
talk to him too.
I'm telling you, and it's, the funny thing is I was like, okay, I just want to talk about Asperger's. Like, come talk to me about your brain. Like, me and my husband and our oldest daughter, we all have Asperger's, and so I just want to relate. I just like want to get the relatability conversation. But I think in going past that fear of boundaries to reach out to someone that feels unattainable, it also made everyone else attainable, because then I was like, okay, I can reach out to these basketball players, these supermodels, these other people, and not be afraid to have the confidence to say, I have a great show, I have a great audience, come share and get value from me, as well as share your value with our listeners. And it's working, so we'll keep it going.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I've gotten some of my best guests that way as well. Like, it's one of those things where you can't. My niche is kind of like positivity. It's kind of like do whatever you want, kind of try to figure that out. And if you don't try, you'll never get what you're looking for. And I've gotten great guests that way just by DMing them. I mean, I don't know if you heard the episode with Chris Henderson from Three Doors Down.
Yes,
I'm just
it
like,
was fantastic.
DM, what happened? Yeah, I'll do it. I'm like, what?
Right?
And when you get it, you're all excited, and that's just, it's super cool. So I get to talk to the lead guitarist of a freaking huge rock band, and
that you love from, like, and I loved them too, and it's so exciting. No, there at my event I have one celebrity guest that will be there, and then one possibly secret celebrity guest that I'm very excited about, and just keeping my fingers crossed it all works out. Because being able to share kind of their success stories, like you said, and being able to show their obstacles and what they overcame is so inspiring and valuable to families and educators and employers and everything for the future of their lives, at least for my listeners and viewers, which have a lot of special needs families and things. So it's great to have them see, oh, this family kind of went through the same struggles, and now this son has a PhD. Like, they put him on the track to success, and this is the steps they took, and now they can, and it's not for every story, but those are the exciting, like, special ones that I'm sharing. And we all go through all real life experiences. And I think that that's what's really nice about doing these lives. Like, there might be dogs barking in the background and kid things or thunderstorms, who knows? But the fact that we can get out there and, just like you said, keep trying to do the next best thing for ourselves, it's really happening in the community now around me, not just for me, but I'm sharing it with friends and family, and I'm seeing them do the same thing. And it's very exciting.
Well, I think it's the thing that we talked about a lot. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but Wise and I are actually doing kind of like a podcast coaching
Oh, that's
show.
fantastic.
We're
Love
doing it.
Wise.
Yeah. So we're doing that once a month, and it's going to end up being more than once a month because it's so fun to do. And it's just
Yeah.
live. We're not recording. We're not putting anything anywhere else except for on YouTube, and it's perfect because we just do it.
Yeah.
But we were talking about just creating. There is this story that you have to tell. There is a story that I have to tell that relates to whatever someone might be going through, and kids in the background, or dealing with autism, or dealing with anything. Someone needs to hear your story, and if you're
Yeah.
willing to put it out there, you're going to help someone, and that's really what it's about for me.
Exactly.
It's like helping someone, and so
It's so neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know. I
you're
love it. I love when I get stories. Sorry, from
no,
people
you're
like, parents that have said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't really think that advice you gave would really even work at our house. And when I tried it, I had so much success." And those are the types of things that make me keep going. These families that write in, or, parents or teachers that say, "Yeah, I really thought about that and gave a new perspective to this child that I'm working with. And now we're having a much better relationship because I was able to integrate those ideas and strategies that you had that were so simple as getting, like meeting their child at their level, and that their level of ideas, their level of creativity, their level of playtime. That's where you'll find like a bond to start like trust relationships with kids." So just some simple things that you can share with families that are like, "Oh my gosh, that makes sense." And now we can, start afresh.
Well, and it's super amazing because autism is such a. And for those of you who don't know, Sarah has some autistic children. She is autism. She's really about autism awareness. She has some books about autism that kind of help people understand that situation. And I have a couple. Actually, my brother-in-law is downstairs right now visiting his kids who are both
Mhm.
autistic, and they are.
Yeah.
Kids are different, no matter what. Like, people are different, but then you throw autism in there, and every single kid is different in the way that you treat them, and the way that they come up, and the way that they relate to whatever you're doing. So it's very
Yeah.
important in my mind to make sure that you try multiple different things with them anyway. So if something's not working, don't be afraid to deviate from your plan, right? I mean,
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's really what it comes down to. And I'm excited to share some new knowledge with you then. So it sounds like you might not know, but I found out in May that I'm autistic as well. I found out that I am, and my husband is, and I don't know if you knew that already. So our whole
well, yeah,
family
yep.
is autistic, and it's so exciting that I have this new perspective, because I was looking at it as a mom, and then I started looking at it as a wife and thinking, "Oh wow, I'm accommodating this man that I love in all these different ways. Like, I can kind of give that same grace to my kid that is going through the same things that I recognize now." And then our daughters. And then I was like, okay, our daughters are way more like me than their dads. So what does that mean? And yeah, so I just took myself down there and found out. And it really was just wonderful, because now I can look back at, 40 years of existence and see, okay, that's what that looks like. That's what that meant. And really kind of integrate my thoughts onto how to tell, like you said, how to give great advice to families on being able to connect with your child, which seems to be the hardest part for parents and the most challenging.
Right. Yeah, and that's the difficult part. I really feel like there's a lot of things that you don't. I don't know. I was a physical education teacher, and I taught the adapted PE class as well. And it was like, it's so hard, even though there was like 7 children in there instead of 40, like my normal class.
Yeah.
It was difficult to kind of get the understanding that this is the way that it is. These are the things that happen, and you can't treat every single one the same way. You have to figure
Yeah.
out what motivates them. You have to adapt things to make it so that it fits their needs. And I think once you figure that out, you're in a better spot, knowing that it's a punt type situation. Sometimes you just have to punt. You just have to, like, this isn't
I
working.
like that.
What can we do? What can we change? You know,
Exactly.
it's never one of the things I always see, and I can't attest, like, I don't understand as much as you do, but I always see everyone's like, well, they need structure, right? Well, you got to find the right structure.
That's so true. And you know, a lot of times, and this is just real, we take our parenting styles that we were given from our parents and we try to enact those. And with neurodiverse children, that's not the case. If you were raised in a typical type of family, there aren't going to be ways that fit into that same box because it's an unboxable type of existence. And you know, I really likened it to kind of having a house with all rounded corners. There's no corners; it's all round. It's just you have to learn how to adapt your furniture and your rugs and your, like, everything has to change.
Right.
You can't expect the house to change. You can't expect these corners to magically show up and be mad at them when they don't. You have to adapt what you have and be mindful that when you are able to adjust your parenting mindset, you can start to see, okay, that didn't work for me. So why am I trying it out again? Like, take those things away. Take those things away from your parenting style. The things that you wished that, you know, on the drives to the grocery store, your dad would have talked to you more. Talk to your kid. Like, change those things. Be the change that you wish you could have had in your life. You know, did my mom, I wish that we would have cooked more cookies together. So go bake cakes and cookies with your kids. Like, do these fun things and be able to kind of not only replay your childhood exciting things that you wish, but you're also sending the message to them that, hey, I want to connect with you. You know, I'm sure, you know, as a teacher, when you see kids who are a lot of attention, a lot of energy and things, I think a lot of times, you know, educators and parents even look and they say, oh, this child's looking for attention. They're trying to get this and that, get this and that. But do they stop to ever think, what type of connection is this child trying to make with me? And where can I stop where I'm at and make a connection with this child? Even if it's, you know, yes, you're busy doing emails or whatever, and, you know, the child wants a drink or a pizza or whatever, you know, it's okay to show them that, hey, you're a priority and I am going to take time. I mean, set it up successfully so that you're not like, your child's, you know, your child's not dragging you in around everywhere. You know, hey, I'm going to finish this up. I have 2 or 3 things to do. Do you want to watch me quietly while I do this and be with me? Hey, I'm going to do this. Is there something you could do in the meantime until we can meet back in the kitchen in 5 minutes? Go set a timer on the microwave and give yourself some time, yet give the respect to your child and let them see that they're a priority.
Yeah, and that's super important. As you're saying, as I'm listening, so many things going through my head. You know, like, you think about that as a teacher, like you were talking about. It's like, I always tried to pay attention to kind of some of these cues and see what kids are doing. You know, and you see those kids that maybe they don't have a father figure at home, so they're looking at you towards that. Maybe they don't have, you know, a lot of money, and so they're trying to find ways to just, you know, get some of the things that they need. You know, it's one of those things you always have to think about that. And starting out teaching, I was in a pretty low income school, and you see a lot of that. It was highly Hispanic. There was a lot of kids whose parents were at work all day, and then they'd be left at home, so they're not getting that attention. Christmas time had come around, and they knew that they're going to have a week off from school. They don't get to see their friends. They don't have any interaction because they're just going to sit in their room at home because there's nothing else for them to do. And it's just a meaningful thing. I don't know that many people understand that they can make a difference just by even saying hi to someone. You know?
Yeah. Oh, it's, you know, that is one of my favorite things to do, Wes. Literally, I love to thank people that aren't expecting it. Like, the woman at the grocery store changing the garbages out by the carts or something. I'll stop and say, thank you so much for your hard work. Like, I appreciate it. I see that you're working hard and thank you. Because who takes their time to do that very often? Like, not enough people. And so I think that it's so unique to be able to be the type of person who wants to make somebody else feel good about themselves. Oh, I love your dress. That's a fantastic hat you have on, sir. Just
Right.
those kinds of things. And I think it goes so far. And like you said, for kids, when you can stop a kiddo and oh my gosh, you just did that bike trick. Like, I saw that. That was amazing. Those are the types of things that build up confidence, that build up self-esteem, and really help kids to, like, it all comes down to trust. And
Right.
once they have this trust that they can be in this relationship with you that can still have boundaries, there is an amazing freedom that exists with you and your child or your neighbor. I kind of have relationships with all of the little kids that come over, because I want them to know that this is a place that's like a safe, good place to hang out. And it helps them relate with my kids. If I'm just out there yelling at everyone or, get off my lawn, it's not going to do any good for my kids' relationships, right? Besides my lawn,
I was
8
thinking
puppies
about
run
Gran-
over it. It's
Yeah.
the worst.
I was just thinking about Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino.
Oh, that was fantastic, wasn't it? I like that movie. Yeah, that
was
is
great.
funny.
Such
but
a
yeah,
hard guy with a soft heart.
Exactly. Oh, that's great. But yeah, I think that this is why I love this so much, because there's so many. I don't know why I have great parenting advice. I already have a 22-year-old. I've already raised an entire adult human. So I already saw everything I've done wrong and right and good and bad. And, I'm trying different things out with the next two. And I see this success.
Right.
And I see where I'm still making mistakes and learning all the time. Like, I'm not an expert by any means. But I think that what's different is that I'm very observant, and I like to observe a lot, and I see a lot and notice a lot. And then that gives me availability to change things that aren't working. And having a great relationship with my husband, and us being able to be, on the same page all the time, and just say, even when we disagree, we come to a compromise or an understanding that works. And it's, our goals to do that. So when you have that in mind as your goal, right, then
Right.
you can do those things. But yeah,
that's a whole nother show.
yeah, exactly.
I tell you what, I mean, and I'm going to say
20
but
episodes later.
marriage is one of those things that is a compromise, and if you can't do it, then it'll never work. And that's the hard part. You have to be willing to let go a little bit. And I think that's the same with child raising as well. Is like, you want those kids to do exactly what you want them to do, but you can't expect them to understand and think the way you think. So,
I love this analogy. Parents and children are like a bow and arrow. Like, the parents are like the bow. We could be super crafted and just beautiful and all of these things, and the arrow's just amazing. But once we shoot the arrow, anything can come into that trajectory of that, can change that, can make it go in a different direction completely. And we can't do anything. The bow can't do anything to stop that. It's just what it is. You have to just practice and be the best you can be, and I heard something the other day, and I'm not going to get it right because I definitely can't repeat things well. So I'll sum it up. But it was basically that, teach your kids enough independence that they can leave the house, but leave the house happy enough that they want to come back.
yeah.
And I thought that was so good to think, because, sometimes we get into these, like, our children are getting older, they might be, leaving the house, and then it's a little bit resentful, almost like you're like, no, how can I control this more? How can I put the reins on this? This is
Right.
too much independence, too much. But I think when we learn to leave this space as just the loving place that they want to return, then we make that availability for them, and hopefully they make that choice. But again, we don't have that decision. So yeah. Oh my goodness, this went a totally different direction than I had anticipated. Isn't that how it goes?
That's the way it is. Well, let's talk about the
it's great
summit a
because
little
you're a
bit.
new dad, you know? Yeah.
Let's talk about the summit a little bit. What's
Excellent.
going on with this? I've seen you post about
Okay.
it for a couple months now, I think.
Yeah, a million times, right? Yeah. It's called the 1 in 44 Tour Virtual Autism Summit. And 1 in 44 are the current number of children diagnosed with autism in the US in 2022. Now, that number is vastly different across the world because there's different populations and there's a lot to account. So I just took 1 in 44 for the US. And what I've done is brought together 20 autistic individuals. Like I said, we have celebrities from Netflix. She's a cast member on Love on the Spectrum, Danny Bowman. We have former basketball star Anthony Ianni. We have an communications expert, Dr. Tim Goldstein, a parenting expert, Dr. Diane Hudson. We have just some amazing guests, not to mention advocates, very, very hardworking, successful advocates in the autism community. And I've brought them all together with 4 live podcasts that will bring their own guests as well. So we have just this huge, amazing, array of different, it's like a view of the spectrum, literally, because you get just different pieces and different education levels. So it's going to be really exciting. We have people talking about sibling relationships, which is a really, really important topic to cover because oftentimes the siblings, are the ones towards the end of our lives as parents that take on the responsibilities for their brother or sister that might have autism or special needs. And so it's so important that we set these parents and educators and everybody up with all of the newest and best information. And that's not to say in 5 years, Wes, that all of this won't be different. It's so hard to give current information and say this isn't like the law. This is what we know now. This is what the best knowledge and the best practices we can have to better help the world understand. I just read something 2 days ago that said in 2020 to 2022, 240% increase in prevalence of autism in the community. And so like in the 1970s, it was like 1 in 10,000. And here we are now today in 1 in 44. So I'm just hoping that with the summit, people will be able to come. They'll be able to listen to these experiences because listening to personal experiences is so valuable. You can gain so much insight on, what worked best for them, what didn't work for them. And not to mention, when you attend the live event, you'll be able to interact with these advocates, with the celebrities, with the podcasters.
Right.
It's so exciting. I'm just thrilled that it was an idea that's come to life.
Well, I think it's great because it's like you said, the prevalence is probably more because there's more data, because they're doing more research. They're finding more things out. I mean, I'm not trying to say this as like a political thing, but it's like COVID, right? We didn't know in the beginning what it did, and we know what it does now, and we have the data. Yeah. We have more data. We're getting more and more data, so we're going to be able to treat it. We're going to be able to do those things with it. Same thing with autism. The more it's prevalent, the more it's in the forefront, the more we're going to know about it, and it's great.
It is really great. And, just being able to embrace the fact that neurodiversity is what makes up societies, if you ask me. Like, you can't have just a one-man show of society. That just doesn't look like anything but boring gray or something. No offense to anybody who loves gray like my husband, but still, it's like we all make up a special part of it. And so being able to bring these people together is such an honor for me because number one, I've had several of them on my podcast already. So if you're interested in seeing who the speakers are, I don't know if you've been to the event page or not, Wes. Incredible. Jeff Ravilla is just such a great producer and event. He's, putting the event together on the Hopin platform. And he's doing such great work on that side. And I'm trying to, do all the videos and all the introductions for everyone and get that. But we have just amazing sponsors. I want to say we have like 12 sponsors right now, 8 to 12 sponsors. And I'm so honored that these people have come together, have given me the support to be able to help educate and bring this amazing summit. It's 2 days, August 12th and 13th. 10 hours each day. So 20 hours of packed information. The great thing about the, Hopin and the live, when you get the tickets, you'll have a replay for weeks afterwards. And so you don't have to attend the whole entire event. That's the great thing about it being virtual. You can listen to it wherever you're at. You can watch it, stop it, replay it. So lots of great options for people.
Now, you can't see the chat box over here, and I haven't answered any questions. But there's people hopping on here that are very they're interested. So if you can just tell us where they can find you, so that they can go get signed up if they want to check it out, things like that. Maybe they want to reach out to you and talk to you about.
I would love that. I would love that. Absolutely. You can. My website is sjchilds.org. And if you go to the blog section, there is a link to the site, or you can look up number 1, IN, number 44, tour. And I've hashtagged it. You can look on Hopin, which is the event site for the 1 in 44 tour. And like Wes said, please reach out if you have any resources that you need, or I have a wonderful Facebook group, Autism Advocate Support Group. If you're looking for support or resources, it's a beautiful community that I've created. And it's funny too, because when you're a parent or as a parent, I should say, I've joined all of these groups and I see all the activities that happen. I couldn't be happier to have created such a beautiful place that is so fostering and nurturing. There's no negativity. And I'm not saying that there's no challenges to be shown or anything, right, but I don't allow any kind of bad talk or negativity or anything like that. When parents come to our group and employees and educators, they get information, support, they get a real community that wants to be a part with them. So it's amazing.
It's super exciting to see what you're doing, how far you have come. I'm really excited to see it. I'll make sure if you can, I know I see it, but I want to make sure that I get it posted on the Shaping Success page so people know where to find it as well.
I can see the chats. Oh my gosh, I guess I get over here in the
Awesome.
chat section. Yep. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I don't really like. We can go through. There's just a lot of supportive things going on in here, and I appreciate you guys hanging out in here. We don't always do, like with Wise, we do the chat box sometimes, but it's
nice. Thank you guys.
So we appreciate you all hanging out. I don't know. Yeah,
can I actually do a chat? I don't see that I can actually chat here, but
we'll get it posted.
It looks like I can just chat with you.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, we'll get it posted with on Shaping Success.
Thank you.
And also, again, tell them what your Facebook page is. I'll make sure that I post that of what you have on my
Okay,
Facebook
thank you.
page.
I'll get it all to you so you can do that easy. So it's SJ Childs, there's my show sign. sjchilds.org. Or you can Google just SJ Childs and you'll find everything. Or the 1 in 44 tour.
Wonderful.
Thanks,
Megan,
it.
for
That's
posting
it.
that up there.
Sarah
has some awesome books too. Like if you guys need any autism awareness books, I'm a bad person. I went to go buy them and then I never did. I need to buy them.
Oh gosh, no.
I want to give them to my kids because, you know, they need to understand this as well. So, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have 7 children's books that are on Amazon. So again, under SJ Childs is my pen name and my host name for the SJ Child Show, which is my podcast that has a lot of great free information if any, you know, one is interested in looking at that. So yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity, Wes. I'm so glad that we got to reconnect, and it, like you said, it's so crazy to think how far we've come from just, you know, being on a podcast a year ago.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you guys want to see that, like if you're interested in, there's the other interview that I did with Sara. It's almost a year ago today. Is up on the page, and I'll post a link to that on Instagram so people can go back and see that too. Before we talk a lot
more about the books in that one, and so if they're interested in more details on that, definitely, I think that that was more prevalent at the time.
Yep, and it's
so
all
now
at
I'm
sjchilds.org, right?
Yep. Exactly. This SJ Childs gal.
Well, Sara, thanks for reaching out. I mean, it's been super fun talking to you again, and we definitely will connect again, I'm sure. I mean, this is just one of those things.
I guess I do have this little promo flyer I can show.
That's right.
So this is what it looks like. I mean, you can even scan it.
I'm gonna see. I wonder if I can make that come up on my phone right now. Well, let's see. Whoops. Oh, more.
I'm like, where am I going?
It'll pull it up. So if you guys see that, if you see that QR code, hit that, you'll get it. So.
Excellent. Yeah. Come and see. And Maria Daniels, my co-host. I don't know if any of you know of Maria. She's fantastic. Super funny. She's great. I love her. And she has a son with autism too. So it's great that we get to do this together and share this with the community. So thank you guys for commenting and listening. And thank you, Wes, so much for having me and getting this great word out about everything.
Yep. I appreciate you reaching out.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, thank you again. Thanks to everyone for tuning in today's show. I appreciate you commenting and everything like that. Until next time, I challenge you to find the shape of your success.